Good afternoon. I am Alia with Westchester Spectator. I am here with financial advisor and CEO of Credit and Debt Management Institute, Dr. Michael Grayson. Welcome, Dr. Grayson, to Westchester Spectator. Thank you for making the time to speak to us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to have you on our platform.
I'm excited.
So why don't you start by telling me a little bit about you and about Credit and Debt Management Institute?
Okay, so we are a 501c3 nonprofit. Our primary focus is financial literacy and helping individuals and small businesses get access to capital. So a lot of people call us a credit repair company, but if you talk to any of our employees, we are not in the credit repair space. What we do is completely different than anybody else in our market. I don't think anybody really does it the way we do.
I love that.
And, currently we have all 3 credit industry records. So that lets you know we're doing something different. We don't have one credit industry record. We have all 3 of them.
Got it. And what year did Credit and Debt Management Institute start?
We started in 2000. So in 2000, this country shifted from the old credit system to the new FICO system, and we started a couple months right after.
Got it. And can you elaborate a little bit about what the FICO system is?
Okay, so in America, we used to have what's called the old credit system. So the old credit system was a merit-based system. So if a lot of your readers and listeners probably weren't around, but back in before 2000, you had a merit-based system. So if I said, hey, how's your credit? All you had to do is think, well, I pay my bills on time. So if you paid your bills on time, you could say with confidence, I have good credit. It was a merit-based system. Now, after 2000, we switched to an algorithm that now has 5 components. And a lot of times people make the mistake. So if you say, how's your credit? If you don't know your credit score, and I mean, if you haven't seen it within the last 30 days, you really don't know what your credit score is because it changes every month. So if you don't know that, you would know the 5 components that control your score and how you're performing across those 5 components. So it's a much more complicated system, but essentially it converts your credit data into a numerical value, the FICO system.
Got it. Yeah, it sounds like a much more elaborate system.
Yeah, and it's a one world system. So every industrialized nation in the world uses the FICO system.
Got it. And what has made you go into this business?
Well, I was a consultant for the credit industry for many years, most of my adult life. In 2000, I kind of saw where they were going with this. I saw that this would be a tool that would disrupt the middle class. I saw it as a tool for certain class of individuals to control the masses. So I didn't like that. So I decided to reverse engineer the FICO algorithm and write the country's first credit restoration algorithm, which we still have.
That's incredible. So what was the toughest thing that you went through when starting with the system?
Well, the system came after me. If you went back right around 2000, we were under attack from a number of sources. Even like Fox News used to do a program almost once a month about me for about a year. I ended up having to sue them because the way they constructed the pieces, they never said that Dr. Grayson was a crook or was bad, but they made it imply that maybe I was doing something wrong or maybe I wasn't wrong, but this is how I got them. So they wanted to do a hidden camera event where they were going to prove that my algorithm didn't work or it was bogus or something like that. So they invited 32 of the world's leading mathematicians and experts into a room. They told my staff that I was doing a workshop for real estate investors, which we do financial literacy pieces all the time, but their secret goal was to prove that my algorithm didn't work. So we did the workshop, and I noticed like right away that these guys were brilliant. Whoever, I do workshops all the time. So to be in a room full of everybody brilliant, and they're asking very pointed, very mathematically intense questions. So I thought it was weird, but I just did what I did. I didn't really think twice about it. But at a certain point during the workshop, I noticed that these guys were actually real questions. They weren't targeted questions. And at the end, they gave me a standing ovation.
Wow.
So I sued Fox News, and we won. They printed a beautiful piece about me, a retraction, so to speak, saying, "Hey, we never said nothing bad about Dr. Grayson. Dr. Grayson, is the real deal," that kind of thing. So that was very stressful because these guys, part of the Fair Isaacs Corporation, a couple of their guys they were coming after me. They were advertising on the radio. If you try to use Dr. Grayson's service and it didn't work, call this toll-free number. They're advertising that all over the country, trying to get somebody to say something negative about me or my business. They were unsuccessful.
But it was tried and proven to work, and you kind of broke through that. All of that bogus, targeted information, targeted questions, attacking you, all of that.
Yeah.
You broke through that brilliantly. I love it.
Thank you. I learned one thing though. Let me tell you the mistake I made early on. I used to do Tiffany Cochran. I don't know if you remember her. Johnny Cochran's daughter used to have a show on NBC, and I was the resident, expert, financial expert on the show. And I made the mistake of talking about too many industry secrets and how to resolve them. And so that created a lot of backlash. And so now, I don't do as much, nationwide or public speaking about specific industry issues and how to resolve them, because the industry would, I'm gonna give you a quick example. So at one time, bankruptcy, I said on national TV, I can take a bankruptcy off of anybody's credit. It's very easy. So the commentator was, well, how do you do that? Now, I shouldn't have explained, but I explained point by point how to remove bankruptcy from your credit. And they actually changed the law because of that. And so it made it more difficult. So now it used to take me 30 days. Now it takes like 3 to 6 months to remove a bankruptcy. But I used to could get it off in a month or less. But so I learned from that. Don't give it up on national television, because they'll change the laws.
Right. That's incredible. So we just kind of addressed this question. If you had to start over from day one, what would you have done differently?
I think I would have made this more of a covert operation. By me, I was so excited. Once I wrote the algorithm and it worked, I was so excited. I said, I can change the world. I can give everybody in America perfect credit. And I was naive. So I didn't realize the country really has a vested interest in bad credit. If everybody had good credit, the system becomes meaningless and therefore doesn't need to exist. So they need a majority of people to have bad credit. That's why the credit bureaus are so virulent with, mishandling your credit files and keeping bad credit there. The Congress and the president has done their job in giving you tools to clean your credit, but the industry doesn't want a lot of people to have access. Super rich people, whether it's conspiracy theory or not, but realistically, they don't want you to have a lot of access to capital. America is still the last vestige of the middle class anywhere in the world. In America, you could be broke today and wake up and become a millionaire tomorrow. There's no other place like that in the world. So there are certain groups or people who they don't like that upward mobility factor. So I probably would have been more on a stealth mode, stealthily putting out the financial literacy.
Got it. And in your opinion, what is the toughest part about having a business in 2021?
2021 is tough. I mean, keeping a lot of very good staff is very challenging. And, our clients already have bad credit, heavy debt problems. So COVID really devastated them. So it's very difficult for them, even though our services are very reasonable, it's still very difficult for clients to pay us. And, this is a tough business on my staff because people call us with terrible problems and there's an emotional quotient that a lot of people can't handle. But, we are problem solvers. I don't care how bad it is, so it's tough sometimes for people to deal with constant influx of problems on a daily basis. Mentally, a lot of people can't handle that. So it becomes a challenge for our staff.
Yeah, it's sort of like a catch-22. If you want to fix your credit, you have to pay more money.
Yes, ma'am.
So if a customer were to choose, you already highlighted this. I'm very impressed with the fact that you're one of the first people to come up with the FICO system. But if a customer had to choose between you and 3 other businesses just like you, what would make you unique?
Well, what we do is completely legal. In the credit repair business is technically illegal. Let me explain. So when you go to a credit repair company, they're going to simply list all your derogatory items and they're going to tell the credit bureau that is not my account. It's called a dispute process.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So all credit repair says, not mine, not mine, not mine, not mine. Now, if those accounts are yours, which 99% of them are yours, and it's not a mistake, for them to allege that it's not yours is fraud.
Right.
So they will say it's not my account. If it falls off, that's good. But that is why credit repair is such a long and difficult process, because they're lying to the credit bureaus on your behalf. So the problem becomes, even if they're very successful and they clean your credit, because they did it with fraud, if you default on those new accounts, so let's say you had 10 negative things, they said it's not mine, all of that fell off of your credit, and so now you have a 700 credit score, you go out and buy a car. If you default on that car and the credit bureau checks, or the auto lender checks, they could sue you for bank fraud or file criminal charges for bank fraud, and that's a minimum 2-year sentence.
Oh my
because
God.
technically you obtain credit through fraud.
Right.
So it's a very tricky situation. You got to be very careful using a credit repair company. In fact, if you Google the top 2 credit repair companies in the country, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is suing both of them and trying to put them out of business. Lexington Law and creditrepair.com. So everything we do is 100% legal. We use the law, and sometimes we use the legal system to affect positive change in your credit.
That's awesome. And what is your #1 way that you're bringing in new customers right now?
We don't advertise. It's all word of mouth. Ultimately, we haven't pushed to become a big credit repair or credit restoration firm, because I started this business. I wanted to proof up my model, and then I actually am working on some software that hopefully will be finished in the first quarter of next year. This software is going to change the world. I don't know if you can see my shirt here. It's called Extreme Credit.
Extreme Credit?
Yeah, so Extreme Credit will fix your credit instantly, automatically. Wow. So it's a credit monitoring service. So you pull up your credit, it monitors your credit. If you look at your credit and say your score is 650, okay, it will ask you, you can fund it or fix it. So you need to buy a car, buy a house, or borrow money, you can hit fund it, and it gives you options for that. But if your score is not up to what you want it to be, you hit fix it, and it fixes your credit. It creates the remedies automatically. If you needed to dispute some items the right way, or use what we call debt filters the right way, it prepares them and it mails them out for you instantly. Wow. So your credit score goes up, and you really should be doing that until you reach 800. So now everybody in America will have an opportunity to reach 800 credit score. So once we launch that, we will go full blitz advertising, but we will always be hands-on in credit restoration, but we've never pushed trying to get a lot of clients. I just want to be always hands-on, so we make sure our technology is always superior than everyone else's.
Got it. And so then has the internet played a big role in your business as it became
We
more
get
prevalent?
almost zero internet traffic or internet clients.
Got it.
Mostly all of our clients come from referrals. I would say 90% are referrals. I have a radio show that I just started up again on Saturdays. We get some clients from that. But
What is it called?
it's called Extreme Credit.
Okay.
So it's Extreme Credit. It's on iHeartRadio, I think, through WVON out of Chicago. It's out of Chicago, but it's internet. It's on the internet, and it's you can always listen to it. But we teach you how to weaponize your credit. So I give up a lot of good information that you can really use on that program. But we get a lot of clients from that, but mostly referrals.
Got it. And last but not least, if you had to look 6 months to a year into the future, where would you like to see your business be?
Well, I want to launch that software. It'll change the world. Once that software is out there, you will really have a tool to control your access to capital. So I'm going to put all of our revenues, all our resources are focused on having that launched within the next 6 months. So it'll be a household word. Everybody will be talking about extreme credit.
I can't wait for it.
Be very mad though. They're going to be very mad at me. I'm gonna have to go into hiding. So I'm glad we're doing this interview now, because this might be the last time you see me personally. I'll be in some bunker underground until
oh my God, I sure hope not. Thank you so much, Dr. Grayson. It's been a pleasure to meet you and find out about Credit and Debt Management Institute. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Talk to you soon.
All right.